All right, good morning. How are you? It's 5 minutes to 11 down here, which I assume is the same thing up there. Boy, this thing is really stiff. I should be that so stiff. All right. Anyhow, let's get back to what we're doing here. All right. Saw the games yesterday. There's a lot of things going on about this, about the Chiefs get calls, and this guy gets calls, and this guy gets calls. Listen, in my opinion, the Texans lost that game because they have a quarterback who has a tendency to zone out at times, and you can see it. If they watch him enough and they show you at the right times, you'll see he doesn't appear to be into the game. And other times he's in it, and when he's in it, he's great. But sometimes he just seems to zone out. That's why they lost the game, because he's predictable. Now, yesterday was watching Lamar and Josh Allen, and Josh Allen came out on top. Now, I have an opinion of Lamar, and nobody shares it with me, all right? There have been some great quarterbacks in this league, all right? Dak Prescott plays great in the regular season, has terrible playoffs. Okay, Lamar is the same way. Lamar, they're just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what happens. It doesn't necessarily mean it's his fault, since they both had the same coaches during these when they were doing these things. It's quite possible it's coaching. That the coaches can't handle really important whatever. Anyhow, but now you get Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes going at each other, and those two guys seem to get a lot of breaks. So we'll see what happens. I don't know who's going to win in that game. I think that game will be more of an interesting game than the Super Bowl. I have my opinions of all this stuff. That's just me. For years it's been thought about that the games are somewhat shaky. I think the Eagles and the Commanders I hate the Eagles. I'm not real fond of the Commanders either, but I can see the Eagles just destroying the Commanders. That's the one that makes sense. But then again, things just don't. Commanders got a cocky young quarterback. Eagles got a warrior. Wait and see what happens. Weather's going to play an influence in it. Neither team is a great foul weather team. So we'll see what happens as things go on there. Now today, most of you probably care and are probably watching the inauguration to hear what Trump says. And I can't spend my day doing that. Okay, I don't want to hear, see, or know, until it's over. I want to see him go into. He says he's going after 300 illegal immigrants in Chicago. Now, I don't know whether that's today or tomorrow morning, but let me tell you something. If these are unaffiliated immigrants, no problem. If these immigrants are affiliated with any of the major, like Latin Kings, Bloods, Crips, whatever, ain't going to be that easy to get them all, okay? If they're still there. I mean, come on, they've had weeks to prepare for this. You know, they know you're coming. What do they think? They're going to sit around and be stupid? But if, like I said, if they're unaffiliated, they'll sit around and be stupid. It's a free trip home. Let me tell you how that works. I had an employee in a restaurant when I was managing our kitchen and whatnot. Very good employee, great kid. All of a sudden, he doesn't show up for a week, you know. And then the next thing, about a total of 10 days, he's back. What happened? He got deported. He got caught in a sweep, got deported, snuck back into the country. It's pretty much still that easy. If you have some money and you have some attitude and you got some balls, you can get into this country. And as everybody has said, you know, you have all the guards in the world down there and people are sneaking in, still sneaking in. What about Canada, where you have absolutely very limited border crossings and the rest of the country's border is unsupervised, I guess, you know? When I visited the Niagara Falls, which is a pretty restricted area, this is after you had to use a passport to get into Canada, and I've been to Canada a lot without a passport before it was necessary to get a passport. So we had a passport and we went in, and they don't ask you a lot of questions on the way in. They're looking for you to bring booze, fireworks, guns, stuff like that back across the border. So not so much drugs, but all the other crap in the world back across the border. So you get questioned very seriously. But anyhow, when I was up there watching, I was on the Canadian side of the falls, because you get a better view from over there. And we walked around the area and whatnot, and you could see places where going across the border was absolutely no contest. You know, you could sneak across the border pretty easily. You know, and I'm sure not maybe necessarily in broad daylight, but a couple of spots I think you could have done it in broad daylight. If you had some courage and you were a little athletic. I mean, you're not going to cross it with a baby in your arms or anything like that, you know. But, and I mentioned that. I said to my wife, was with me, and she said, well, you know, why do we have to go through all that stuff? We're citizens and everything. And I said, well, it's just, the way things are nowadays. And it's probably 10 times worse now. I don't know. But, it's a racist thing with Trump, because Trump likes money, and the drug industry is the highest profit industry in the world, probably, I mean, Escobar was making hundreds of millions of dollars a week. Okay, they're still thinking that his money's got to be someplace in the country. His wife got it. It was all moved it out to banks and whatnot, and his wife's got it, because they didn't really look for it, They were interested in shutting down the drugs. They weren't interested in the money, and that's the problem you have, because the drug industry, in terms of the border immigration and whatnot, is you have to stop demand. It's basic economics 101, supply and demand. Right? There's a demand for it, and there are people willing to take the risk because the reward is so great. There are people willing to take the risk. Now, the only way you're going to stop drugs, 100%, is to get rid of the reward factor, and that's not going to happen. So you're going to have a problem with immigration. Now, if you take out all the Colombians and Mexicans and all the Latinos and Chinese and whatnot that are smuggling in drugs, you know, then you've got to say, well, okay, just watch Americans take over, you know. And that was the thing in the days of the mafia. The mafia didn't like drugs because mafia knew back then that drugs would attract the federal authorities. You know, I mean, murder and tax evasion and all this other stuff, intimidation, eventually got the feds involved in it. But in reality, it wouldn't have happened if they had sat around and not stayed away from drugs. But some of the families liked to profit of it. You know, that's the problem. Once Trump sees that the economics of that, he's going to want a piece of that action. And you say, oh, he's American. He's never done anything. Bullshit. He will do what he can to get a piece of that action. And not going to be easy, and I don't know whether he can or not. But I'm seriously thinking he's thinking about it. He doesn't want to be involved in the actual process of importing and whatnot. He wants to be able to control it somehow. And if he can shut down all the illegal operations along the border and everything, then he can turn around and legalize it. And okay, there'll be a moral uprising, but he can legalize it, and then he can control it. The profit margin won't be the same, but he'll try, you know. But like I said, the drug dealers have it right. You don't want us to sell the drugs? Fine. Tell the Americans to stop using them. Okay? It's the same thing with Xanax and some of the antidepressants, legal antidepressants are out there. What do you think the Stones song about the little yellow pill? You know, what do you think about that? That's what that's all about. You know, that's back in the 60s when all the psychedelics and tranquilizing medicine and whatnot, antidepressant medicine started showing up. The cheapest one on the market was cocaine. Because cocaine made you feel good. A lot of the legal drugs make you feel weird. You know, and I know I had a tooth pulled and was in a lot of pain, well, because the dentist left something in my mouth, but besides, I didn't know that at the time, so they gave me a Quaalude. I took one Quaalude. They gave me a prescription for Quaaludes. I took one Quaalude, and I have to tell you, I started talking to God, and he's answering me, and I said, never again. I can't take something that removes all control of my mental faculties like that. And everybody that takes those kind of drugs is different. I took LSD. I didn't have any problems. I just got into the music. It was a nice groove. But I know people that took it. To this day, they still have flashbacks. Psychedelic drugs and drugs that affect your thinking processes are very, very dangerous. Cocaine kind of mellows you. I don't know the effects of cocaine. I've never done cocaine. You want to talk about marijuana? I can talk about marijuana. Okay, that I've done. Quaaludes I did. I told you I don't want to be part of that. I've done LSD. I've done a lot of other psychedelic drugs from the 60s. But certain things I don't touch anymore because they start to affect my thinking processes. And I'm not a genius by any matter that I have to worry about my thinking processes, but I have a good imagination and I don't want to lose that. You know, I don't want to be influenced by outside forces where that's concerned. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know. But immigration's the top issue tomorrow morning. 300 people in Chicago. That's going to be an interesting experiment. Unless he's already got them lined up and they want to go home. Alright? Because you do get people like that, you know, they want to go home and they can't afford it or something like that, so they go, or they figure it's a vacation and they'll go home and turn around and come back because they're guaranteed re-entry. The million people he wants to get rid of, or 10 million people, or whatever it is that he wants to get rid of, isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen easy. There's going to be a lot of problems with that, especially with the camps that he's setting up in Texas. You know, I personally think he should, to solve the problem, just give Texas back to Mexico, and then that's their problem. You know, mostly there's a lot of good Mexican people in Texas, you know, and they don't want to go back to Mexico. So I don't know, you know. But there are, like I said, I've seen this happen. You know. Deport them today, and 10 days to 2 weeks, they're back in the country again. and we might see a lot of that, depending on what they do. You know, depending on how much money they have at their disposal, what kind of organizations they belong to. If they're part of the hierarchy of, if they just support them, you know, take them to the bus and let them off a bus, and the Mexican authorities don't do anything to the criminals, and why should they? They haven't committed a criminal act in their country, so they should just let them go. But we'll see what happens with that, you know. All right, listen up, pay attention. Here comes the spiel. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe to my videos. My videos don't cost you a dime. Nobody that you subscribe to on this channel, to my knowledge, costs you money to subscribe to it. All right, it's free. You can unsubscribe at any time. Most of the people that I have on here, they know me personally, and they like to know some stuff about America, so they subscribe to it, you know. But here, I'm looking for a little bit of help, give me a boost with YouTube, you know, till they shut down YouTube. Anyhow, or they censored me, which is, you know, par for the course. It's happened to me one time before. I forgot the website I was on. Oh, I got censored once on Facebook. I don't really like Facebook. I'm on Facebook because my friends were all on Facebook. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on Facebook. No reason to. There's nothing there. You know. I left Twitter not because of muscarine. I got tired of getting porn. You got tired of getting porn? What's wrong with you? I said, listen, dude, you know, they're looking for more than, you know, they're looking for money, they're looking for a lot of things. These people that come on, you know, promising nude pictures and all this stuff. Yeah, no, thank you. Anyhow, like I said, I'm one of the few free options in the world. Once you get internet and all that, I mean, it's not completely free. But how about giving me a subscribe or a like? I'd appreciate it, really. I'm just an old guy trying to have some fun. Alright, see you tomorrow.